Have you ever looked at the dashboard on your Discovery and thought that 7.8 litres per 100 k's is just a little bit too optimistic for such a big car? I mean, they weigh better part of 3 tonnes and they're built like a brick. So how can it be doing that? That's something like 30.2 miles per gallon in the US. So it's not right. So I'm going to show you the real world data on my car. I've been tracking the fuel consumption on this thing for about 6 months. We're going to use the gap tool to reset the metrics on this and make it be a little bit closer to what reality is. The problem is, if it's showing that you're doing better fuel economy than you actually are, it means that your range to empty reading on your dashboard will also be wrong. So to fix the calibration, you can't just do it on 2 tanks of fuel. Driving experiences are different. Mine is about 10 tanks of fuel, I think, now. So that's a fair assessment, although one of them was towing. So this is an app that I developed myself just to keep my vehicle records in order. It tracks mileage and fuel consumption. You can see here that in green that that's actually what I did on that tank of fuel, litres per 100 kilometres. And then I've got them all the way back to February. We're in early July now. One of the records there was for towing. So taking out the record where I was towing, I'm averaging 10.01 litres per 100 kilometres, as opposed to the 7.8 litres per 100 k's that's showing on the car dashboard. And it's giving a distance to empty of 498 kilometres, and that's my total mileage. So she's done a few k's, this car. So this means our error percentage is 28.3%. And to calculate that, it's 10.01, which is our real world figure, minus 7.8, and then divide that by 7.8 times 100 gives you 28.3%. Now, that's a heck of a big discrepancy. It's not that I expect a car of this size to be economical, but if they offer you a feature that's supposed to tell you how much fuel you're using, then you should expect it to work, I think. This is my gap tool, and just plugs in here in the IIDTool port, which is underneath the steering wheel. Being a right-hand drive car, just above the pedals. Plug that in and it starts trying to communicate with my phone. So having connected the gap tool to the car, we'll look for the app. You should do this with a full battery, and if you think that your battery's low, then definitely put it on to charge. So we go into car config, click on IPC instrument pack, and then down here I've got trip fuel eco adjust. It's in there, but to my surprise you can only go +8 or -8. That's no good. I need something like 23%. So I'm going to put it all the way up to 8. It was at 7. Obviously that's the default. And there are settings here for tyre aspect ratio and tyre size, rolling circumference, etc. I presume if you change those, you'll stuff up your speedo and how it records mileage. So I'll just write this to the car. Only takes a few minutes. But do make sure you've got a full battery. I can't emphasise that enough. And we'll just upload it, let this do what it's got to do. And that was speeded up by about 10 times. So changing that correction percentage has made very little difference. I'll just turn the car on. You can see that's on our last couple of trips. It says 8.1 litres per 100 k's. So that's pointless. It's still, I know it's 10.01. So that's a bit of a disappointment. It seems that I can only adjust the setting by 8%, plus or minus, and that just plain isn't enough. It needs to be, for me, it needs to be about 27% or something, taking into account that it's already at 7%. So it's not work. I've actually contacted the Gap company who supply the tool, the diagnostic tool, but they have nothing to really add. The setting of 8 or minus, or 8 plus 8 or minus 8% is built into the Land Rover, so there's nothing that can be done there. Why it's so far off, that could be down to simply the age of the car and the number of Ks she's done. As I said, about 250,000 kilometres on this car, and they are the original ejectors. It could be that they're just wearing and they're delivering more fuel than was originally intended. The computer accounts for that, but obviously not the trip computer. The tyre size is correct in the tool, as is the rolling circumference, which you can set. I mean, you could fiddle with that, but that then means that your speed's going to be wrong on your dashboard, so there's no point in fiddling with that. So I think this is a case of having to actually live with it. It's a feature of a Land Rover. If I just take it on face value, I'm doing great mileage, but it's actually not so great. Anyway, I hope that helps in a way. If your adjustment is only slightly off, then yes, you could make the adjustment, but not in my case, far too much. And as these cars age, I think we're all going to be in the same situation.